Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? Happy Sunday. I'm excited to get into some charts with y'all this week. What's up, Ish? How you doing, man? We should have some pretty good opportunities this week. We got NFP this week, so market should definitely be moving this week, y'all. Sister Beck, how you doing? How you doing? We're gonna give everybody about 2 more minutes and then we're gonna go ahead and get started, y'all. We're gonna get in, we're gonna get out. I see some opportunities. Like I said, if anybody is on here and y'all want to see something marked up, just let me know. Just go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to mark it up for y'all. Also, currently right now we got a request on GA. So I'll definitely put that one in the chat. All right, y'all, we're gonna give everybody about couple more minutes and then we're gonna get at it, y'all. Hey, another thing too, you guys, I don't know if you guys remember on the last live that we were on, I mentioned something about gold getting all the way down to a daily level. It actually hit that level, and that's something that I've been kind of expecting for a while. Gold really follows fibs really well, especially from a daily perspective. So with that, we're gonna go over that pair as well. So yeah, like I said, we should have some really good opportunities, but we want to make sure that we're mindful of the news this week, because you know, we can be in a trade or something like that, and the news can really, you know, kind of fake you out and kind of go the other way. So we just want to make sure that we're mindful of what we're in and what that actual pair is trying to accomplish. All right. And so with that being said, y'all, it's already 2:05, so let's go ahead and get into it. So y'all know we usually start off with a word of prayer, so we'll go ahead and do that. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for this day. I want to thank you for life, health, and strength, Lord. I pray for everyone that's on this live today. I pray that something is said today that will help somebody become financially free, that, you know, this channel will continue to provide value for whoever engages in this channel. Lord, I just pray that everyone is healthy and safe. I pray that their families are great. And Lord, most of all, we thank you, we love you, and we praise you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I'm excited about this week. Like I said, I know I say that all the time, but I'm excited about every week of trading. I mean, it's always an opportunity for us to make some money, for us to get better and see, you know, what's new in the market, you know, and to kind of test our analysis against the market. All right, so like we always do, we like to start off with Forex Factory to kind of take a look and see exactly what's going on. Oh, that's a little too big. Let's take it back a little bit. Let's go into the calendar. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Maybe 250. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. So, of course, on Sundays, you know, I don't really do too much trading on Sundays unless it's something that's really out of the ordinary. But Sundays and most Mondays, I like to let the market kind of settle into itself from the weekend. So on Sundays, I don't really see anything kind of sort of popping off. So for tomorrow on Chef, about 1:30 Central, we have CPI on Chef. And so we should see a little bit of action during the London session around that time on Chef. We can see that tomorrow Euro is a bank holiday, so Euro might be a little bit slow tomorrow. Hold on one second, you guys. I don't even think I'm logged into this thing. Oh yeah. Okay, perfect. So going into the day, we can see USD have a little bit of action at 9 a.m., which is ISM Manufacturing PMI. And one of the things I want to do, I want to kind of look at this from last month to actually see exactly what this was and how this kind of affected the market. So we'll go back to kind of check that out. All right. Then looking at during the Asian session, we see AUD probably have some movement. So for GBP AUD, one of the pairs that we'll be looking at today, we might see some movement 10:30 p.m. Central tomorrow on that particular pair. So we want to be mindful of that around 10:30 tomorrow. On Tuesday, we can see in the morning during the New York session, we got some USD news that's going to be popping off. JOLTS job openings. I don't really remember this, so that is something that I want to kind of look at. And also we got FOMC at 8:15 in the morning. Something I want to kind of look at. But while we're here, let's actually look at this one right quick. Hold on, you guys. Let me kind of shrink this a little bit. It's looking a little weird. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get into this one here. Number of job openings during the report month, excluding the farming industry. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. Release monthly about 35 days after the month ends. Okay. So the next release will be November 1st. And we can see on here some of the trends as the last time that this actually hit. So we can see the last time that this hit was around August 30th. And it kind of give you the dates here, the history as opposed to when this thing actually kind of popped off, this JOLTS job opening. So like I said, I want to kind of go back and look at this just to kind of see exactly what this did and how this kind of played out, and see how the market moved during this last month. Let's check out this FOMC at 8:15. We can see the last time this hit was September 29th, which is actually this week. So usually FOMC kind of happens in the middle of the day. Like I said, I don't really remember it happening in the morning, so we'll kind of check that out as well. All right. Going into Wednesday, what we can see at 8 o'clock Central, we have some NZD pairs that's going to probably pop off. And going into Wednesday, all day, OPEC meetings. Okay, so this might affect what pairs, to be honest with you. Okay, oil, all right. Yeah, I'll go back to kind of look at this and see how this was affected as well. But this is all day. It don't necessarily clarify exactly which pair is going to be on. But we can see around this time on Wednesday, that's when NFP, is going to start to kind of make its move. Usually NFP is on that first Friday, but we do have action usually midweek going into the end of the week. So just be mindful that USD pairs are going to have a lot of action 7:15 in the morning Central Time on USD pairs. Also around 9 o'clock as well. Okay. Going into Thursday, as soon as New York overlap with London, we should see a little bit of movement on the euro. Going into that morning, USD news as well as CAD news. And then as we can see, we got FOMC at 4 p.m. Wow. 4 p.m. That's actually when the market closes to actually transition. I do not plan on being any trade during this time, because that cutover it can be kind of vicious, especially if you got news right at the cutover. So just be mindful of that on Thursday at 4 p.m. We got FOMC, you guys. And then popping off to Friday, we can see on Friday we got CAD and USD pairs. That's gonna really pop off on that Friday for NFP. And so there's a few things that I think might happen, and I'm gonna kind of go through my analysis to kind of show you guys. All right. And so let's go ahead and jump into it. We're gonna start off with GA. So if you guys, like I said, if anybody have any requests, we'll start off with those requests before we kind of get into my pair. So let's look at GA to start off. All right. So looking at GA, we can see that GA has been bearish, you know, and this is the daily currently right now. We can tell that it was bearish, and then we can tell that some news that happened, you know, last week gave us this huge candle right here that wicked something down here. So we'll go back to see exactly what was wicked in this area here that actually pushed price up. So if we look at this, let's actually look at the weekly, because I want to see exactly what is price trying to achieve. You know, what is this price trying to achieve as of this point? So if we're looking at the weekly time frame, I just want to get an overall big picture of this thing. We can tell, let's actually start from this point here. We can tell price was giving higher highs and higher lows. Okay, we can see we had a break of structure in this area right here on the weekly time frame, and we can see that price gave a retest more than 50% on a weekly perspective. Okay, it came all the way up here on the fibs and it wicked our 78.6, and then it started to trickle down. Okay, so we can see that from a weekly perspective, but now let's look and see where it is from this point here. Okay, so this is the retest, and we can tell from a weekly perspective, price started to decline. We have lower high here, come up, lower low. Price gave us complex pullback, break of structure. However, it still broke all the way down. Hold on 1 second, you guys. We can see we got lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, complex pullback, broke down to another lower low. Okay. No, I'm sorry. We have lower low here, lower high, and then lower low. That's on a weekly perspective. Okay, so now let's go to the daily just to kind of look and see what it's doing right now. So from a daily perspective, if we kind of look at price where it is right now, we can tell we got lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This right here is a lower high, lower low, and we had a break of structure in this area here. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my mouse, you guys, but we had a break of structure in this area right here from a daily perspective. This is daily break of structure. Okay, so one of the things that we want to see, a pullback. Let's break out our fibs. We want to see a pullback that comes 50% or greater. We want to see a pullback somewhere within this golden zone right here. Okay, that's what we want to see. We want to see a pullback somewhere in this area. Now, that's what we see on a daily perspective. So let's break this down to actually see if we can see any breaks of structure, if price maybe think of turning around on a smaller time frame, things like that. So on a 4-hour time frame, we can see that one of the things that kind of stand out is we have a demand zone here with this order block, which is a bullish, bearish, bullish. So this is a continuation pattern right here, which lets us know that price wants to continue in an upward direction. So we can label this as our demand zone. I'm sorry, let me make this blue. This is a demand zone here, right here on the 4-hour time frame. All right, let's break it down to the 1 hour. Let's go to the 1 hour. So as we can see within this 1 hour pattern, we're still bullish. We're still making higher highs and higher lows, because we can tell in this area here from a hourly perspective, prices come up here, higher high, higher low, higher high up in this area here. So we're still bullish overall. Let's drop down to the 15-minute. So from a 15-minute perspective, this is our break of structure point in this area right here. Before I even want to look at, possibly a price turning around or something like that. So from a 15-minute perspective, that's where I want to kind of see first. I want to see price break this 15-minute area. What it might do is tap into this level of demand and it might continue up. But if it breaks through this 15-minute structure, give us a retest, then we might look at price turning around to actually come down to the downward side. However, we want to be mindful though, because this is a demand zone here, price can just come and retest this even if it breaks this 15-minute. So a safer approach would be to wait for the break of structure on the hourly time frame. So if we look at this, we'll come down here. Right up under this demand zone would be our hourly break of structure. That will be the safer approach, because like I said, if it breaks this 15-minute structure, that might only be a retest of this demand zone here. Okay. So one of the things we want to do is, let's see, 1 hour break of structure. Let's put this to the downside. Okay. And so what I'll do, I'll put an alert in our chat. So for those who are new, whenever we put alerts on here, the alerts, if you're in our Discord, the alerts will go to the Trading View alert section. That way all of us can kind of get the alerts and you'll know when price actually hit those levels. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll put an alert on this break of structure, this 1 hour break of structure here. Hold on 1 second. Let's find what we need. That way we all can get this alert. Okay, here we go. Right here. Let me copy this. So this is GA 1 hour BOS. Okay. And then let me also copy this here. That way we'll actually see the alert when it comes through. GA 1 hour BOS. Okay. So that's one of the things I want to see on GA before we actually take an entry on this, because like I said, if we come to the daily time frame, we're due a pullback. We're due a pullback for this to kind of come down here into this golden zone and actually continue to the upside. Because one of the things that I think price is trying to achieve, if we're looking at the weekly, I think price wants to create a lower high on the weekly time frame up in this area here. We can see that price is coming up to this golden zone up in this weekly area here, but I think price wants to come up a little bit higher before it continues down. But before it does that, I think price wants to give us a pullback and then kind of continue to the upside. Okay. However, one of the things that we could look for, if price don't give us that turnaround, what we could look for if we're on an hourly time frame or 15-minute, if we took a fib on this swing here, one of the things that we could wait for is for price to come back here on the 15-minute. And then once price comes to this 15-minute on a lower time frame like the 5 or the 1 minute, we could wait for, like, let's just say if price came down on the 1 minute like so, or the 5 minute, and then gave us a break of structure coming up and a retest, then of course we can take it to the upside on something like that. But we want to be mindful of it, and we want to wait for price to kind of give us, you know, some sort of signal as to what it's going to do. And so that could be another approach that we could do. For me, because I'm kind of expecting a pullback on this particular pair, I want to see what it's going to do, if it's going to come down to this area and kind of do that. But you know, we can also put an alert here on this 15-minute, because what this 15-minute can do, if it comes down here, break this area and come in this demand zone, we can kind of see if price wants to give us a break of structure on a smaller time frame within this demand zone. Because like I said, on the 4 hour, this is a continuation order block to go to the upside, so it might have some more room to go up. So we can put here, you know what, we'll just put an alert that says GA approaching 4 hour demand. GA approaching 4 hour demand. And we'll all get an alert for that as well. That way, when it comes down here to this demand zone, we can kind of be mindful and look at it to see exactly what it's going to do, if it'll give us any indication that it wants to continue down to the downside, or if it want to give us a break of structure on a lower time frame to continue up. So we'll see what it does. Okay. Okay, I don't see any other pairs right now, so what we'll do, we'll go ahead and start on some of my pairs. Hey, I hope that helps. That analysis on GA, that's what I see right now, because like I said, I see this continuation order block, this bullish, bearish, bullish, and so I think price will kind of continue a little bit, but I do want to see it come back and retest this demand zone, possibly go up. If we want to do that turnaround, then like I said, it'll break this 1 hour structure, continue down to this area before it pushes up to the upside. Okay, all right, let's look at GU. Let's kind of look and see what GU is doing, you guys. So as you guys can see, GU has been bearish for quite some time, just like any other USD pair. And so with this, we can see right here on a daily perspective, we have lower highs and lower lows. These are our daily lower highs and lower lows, okay? All the way down in this area here. So, hold on, wait a minute. I think I missed one. Actually, I did. This is one here. The reason why this is one is because we have more than a 2 candle pullback, and then it broke this area here. So we can actually just look at these areas here. Since these are daily levels, we don't have to necessarily go back that far. So from a daily perspective, this is what we're looking at, all right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And so we're possibly coming back up here to make another lower high and maybe continue to the downside. We don't know. So let's go ahead and look and see exactly what price is doing at this point. So if we throw a fibs on this, we can see from a daily perspective that GU has already entered our golden zone. Okay. So right now, you know, it's fair game for price to turn around, kind of do whatever it wants to do. But let's kind of look and see exactly where it is right now. So we can tell that price has wicked into this imbalance right here. This is a daily imbalance. And from here we can see up here we have a few supply zones and things like that. We have a supply zone here, which gave us a continuation to a bearish, bullish, bearish. Came down here and gave us another bearish, bullish, bearish before price kind of shot down. Okay, let's drop to a 4-hour time frame to kind of see if we have anything that is closer that can maybe give us an indication as to what price is trying to do. Okay, so we can see up in this area a smaller bearish, bullish, bearish. Nothing that really stands out to me though, as opposed to this 4-hour imbalance here that actually wicked as well. So price has wicked this imbalance and decided to kind of rush away from this area. And if we kind of look at this, let's kind of look and see exactly what we have in this area. We can see that we had a bullish, bearish, bullish, but price came back up and it blasted through this wick here, which was a break of structure on a smaller time frame. Okay, so let's drop to the 1 hour just to see exactly what it's doing. So if we look at this on a 1 hour perspective, just like we said, it was a break of structure on a smaller time frame. So if we come up and look at this, we had a higher high, higher low, higher high, break of structure, just like we said in this area right here. We had a 1 hour break of structure. And from here, we have if we throw our fibs on this, we're already in the golden zone for a 50% pullback. Okay, so we're fair game right now to actually turn around and go to the downside. Okay, and now what we said, if we go back to a higher time frame, we said that we're already in the daily golden zone for a turnaround, a possible turnaround to come back to the downside. So this is possibly where price is going to start turning around for our lower high on a daily perspective. So since we know price is already within 50% or greater from a 1 hour perspective, let's drop down to the 15 just to kind of see exactly what we can see. Okay, so from a 15-minute perspective, we can see we have let's see, higher high. I don't really consider, and I'm going to show you guys why. If we come here, even though from a 15-minute perspective this looks like a higher high, I don't necessarily consider coming down here a higher low, because it has to break out of the range of the previous candle. So for example, if we look at this candle here, it's still within the range of this candle. So in order for this to be a higher low or something like that, I would like to see it kind of break out of this area. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on, wait a minute. Let's see, higher high. All right, this one a little weird. This might be a complex pullback. This one is a little weird. So what we'll look at, let's go to a different one. Let's see. We'll look at the big move, okay? Higher high, higher low, okay? As we can see, I think this one is a little higher. Yes, it is. So we'll look at the bigger move. Higher high, higher low, higher high, okay? So before we turn around on a 15-minute perspective to go to the downside, we want to break this area right here. Now, I hope I didn't confuse anybody. So let's look at this again. So from a 1 hour perspective, if we're looking at the hourly, we can tell that the hourly broke structure and it's giving us a retest because price wants to come back down. Okay, price wants to come back down. So we came up here. Price is giving us a retest on a daily time frame, which price actually came to this supply zone here. Where is it? We can see from a 1 hour perspective, this is a 1 hour supply zone. Price has come up to this area, tapped into this 1 hour supply zone. Okay. Now, price, like I said, price wants to come back down. So before it's confirmed to come back down, I want to see a break of structure on a 15-minute, which is right here. Because this is what we want to see. When price breaks structure here, we want to see price retest 50% or greater on a 15-minute, and then continue to the downside. Okay? So that's what we want to see. So before we decide to hop in this pair, we want to see price break this 15-minute area here. So with that, let's go ahead and mark this as a 15-minute break of structure. GU 15-minute BOS. And I hope this makes sense to you guys. Let's make sure this goes to everybody. Copy this, put this here. All right, so this will give us our 15-minute break of structure. Once we get that 15-minute break of structure, we want to see a retest on a 15-minute. From there, we can drop to a 1 minute or a 5-minute, and we can wait to see what price will do from that perspective there. But one of the things I want to show you guys with this, we can definitely get some pips on this, because right off the bat, my TP would be to take out the liquidity of this last lower low on a daily time frame. So if we just look at the pips from this area here coming down, that would be about 80 pips or so. One of the things that I'll be expecting price to achieve, if we look at this, I'm looking for price to possibly come down to this, for price to come down to the $1 mark on GU, which is low. That's pretty low. But that's what I'm looking for price to achieve. So this is, I'll just say $1. Let's see, daily target. So that's the daily target that I'm looking for price to achieve on GU. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. We want to see price give us a break of structure and a retest on a 15-minute, and then from there we can catch an entry and possibly ride this thing all the way down to either this daily liquidity area here, or ride price all the way down to this daily target here. If your psychology is good enough to ride it all the way down here, ride it all the way down there, then hey, more power to you. But for me, I'll probably, if I can catch an entry up here, I'll be looking to ride it down to take out this liquidity in this area here. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for GU. So I'm expecting some more bearish movement within GU this week. All right, so let's go to EU, you guys. All right, looking at EU, just like GU, it's been bearish for quite some time. We can see from a daily perspective, we got lower lows and lower highs. And we can see in this area here, price gave us a stop right here, planted a demand zone, which gave us a morning star. Price kind of shot away. So with this morning star here, we can see price here gave us a demand zone, planted right in this area here. Now, one of the things I want you guys to see, that with this wick here, when this wick was broken, just from looking at this from a higher time frame, this was a break of structure on a smaller time frame. Okay, this was a break of structure. So if we drop down to the 4 hour, let's look at this and let's see. In this area, yeah, so look at this, you guys. This is where we were. If we look at this, we can tell from here, lower low, lower high. Hold on, wait a minute. No, that might be on another smaller time frame for that break of structure. No, here we go, right here. Right here. So we got lower low, lower high, lower low, break of structure, and a retest right here. Now this retest here, now one thing to notice, well, one thing to be mindful of, when you're dealing with EU, a lot of times EU will test the 50% on the fibs. Sometimes it'll test the 61.8, but a lot of times EU will wick the 50% before it goes the other direction. So let's look at that. Let's test that theory. So if we throw a fibs from here to here, look what it did. From trading EU, I know it loves to test the 50% a lot. So as we can see, we had this break of structure. It retested the 50% before it continued to the upside. Okay. And with that, if we're looking at this from a daily perspective, we're expecting price to pretty much give us a lower high before it continues to the downside. Okay. So if we can see on a 4 hour perspective that price wicked the 50%, now it's starting to give us bullish momentum on the 4 hour time frame. And we can see higher high, higher low, higher high, possibly coming back to another higher low on the 4 hour time frame. So let's look and see exactly what price is trying to achieve from a daily perspective. And we possibly can catch some movement to continue the pattern down to the downside. So we can see, now we know that it likes to test the 50% before it turns the other direction. So we can see it's approaching the daily zone right here. This is our daily golden zone that we want price to come back to actually tap into before it continues to the downside. So a couple of things, what do we see in this area that price can possibly bounce off of? Hold on, let me put that back on. So we know this is the 50%. This area here is the 61.8, which has an imbalance here. We don't know if it'll get up there, but price might just come up to this 50% before it continues the other direction. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. Okay. Now, if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we can see in this area that we have a bearish, bullish, bearish right in this area here. We can see price wicked right over here. It possibly took out liquidity if we had some people right here in this area to actually look at this supply zone here. So we can see price came up, possibly took out a little bit of liquidity here, and then came to the downside. Okay, so I want to see price come up a little bit higher. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see it tap this 50% area within this this golden zone on the daily. But let's break it down to the hourly just to look and see exactly what price is doing. Okay, so we can see, like we said, price is bullish right now. And if we took our fibs to ride the trend going up, look at this, you guys. Price came down, wicked the 50%, and then price might come up a little bit higher because I want to see price come up and wick this 50% on a daily. So one of the things we want to do, we want to wait. We want to wait for this. We want to wait for price to continue to the upside, because right now, we can see that price is giving us bullish momentum, because look at this. We have a bullish, bearish, bullish order block here. This demand zone lets us know that price wants to continue. And then right here, another possible bullish, bearish, bullish. Price is giving us more bullish momentum right here. It wants to continue to the upside. And so with that, we want to see price break through this supply zone, tap into this area, possibly give us a break of structure down to the downside. Okay, so that's what we want to see. If price decides to turn around, then we need, like if it decides not to go up in this area, then for a break of structure, we need to wait for it to break structure down here. But like I said, I think price is going to break through this area first. This here will not be our break of structure because it has not given us an impulse to a higher high to break this yet. So right now, if price turned around right here, we wouldn't be looking for a break of structure until we got to this area here. So like I said, I want to see price possibly come up in this area, tap into this area here before we get a break of structure and a continuation to the downside. Okay, so one of the things that we could look at, let me take this out and I'll remove this. I'll put an alert here that tells us, okay, EU has broken our higher high, our 1 hour, oh man, what's going on? Our 1 hour higher high. EU breaks 1 hour higher high. And I'll put an alert here to let us know that it's broken our higher high and is possibly approaching our daily golden zone. That way we can see if price will get in that area, maybe give us a break of structure on a 15-minute or something like that, retest to continue to the downside. Let's go ahead and copy this stuff here to make sure everyone gets the alert. Okay, so we just pretty much do the same thing over and over, you guys. We don't want to overcomplicate anything. We follow the same rules. We do on the hourly though, one thing that I do see, we do see this imbalance here. And so price can possibly turn around here. We want to make sure that we look at all confluences. Let me see, this is a 1 hour imbalance. We want to make sure we look at all confluences when we're looking at this thing. Another thing that I see though is looking at price right here. This possibly could be Wyckoff on a smaller time frame. And I say that because I see this long wick here, which could possibly be a UTAD. This here can be a UT, and this here could be a BC, which is a buying climax. So if we drop to a smaller time frame, let's look at this. If we're on a 15-minute, let's see if we have things that line up. I don't necessarily see anything that lines up that will give me trading range alignment, which is what I look for a lot. And so with that, I don't necessarily want to look at this as a Wyckoff entry because that'll be risky, because right now I'm expecting price to continue up. And if I was looking for Wyckoff, a distro on this, that'll be something that'll come up with this and then continue to the downside. However, I'm not looking for that. So we're not even going to look at Wyckoff for this particular area here because I'm expecting price to continue to the upside. Okay. So that's what I pretty much have on EU, you guys. Overall, I'm looking for EU to be bearish. I'm looking for EU to tap into this golden zone, give us a break of structure on a smaller time frame, and continue to the downside. And ultimately, what I'm looking for is price to continue to this demand zone or possibly take out the liquidity on a daily time frame. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for EU. I'm looking for it to continue to be bearish. Now, if price gets higher and maybe break this $1 mark, okay, we might be looking at something a little bit different. However, if it breaks through this last daily lower high, yeah, ultimately I'm looking for price to do a huge turnaround on all USD pairs. But as of right now, I'm going to follow the trend in which the market is giving us. I don't want to impose my bias on something that's not there, and we'll just follow what, just pretty much do what the market gives us. Okay. All right, you guys. So look at USD CAD. USD CAD is actually one of my favorite pairs that I like to trade. Because a lot of times it has clean market structure and it tells you exactly what it's going to do. So USD CAD, which is the opposite of the other USD pairs because USD is in the denominator, in the numerator, it's been bullish for quite some time. Just like the other USDs have been bearish. So we can look at this. We can see we have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and it's giving us a huge impulse to the upside. We haven't confirmed the higher high up here yet, but it's constantly going. And so one of the things I want to see is a huge pullback to give us another higher low. But let's kind of look and see, because this is such a huge move here, let's go to the weekly to see what price can possibly stop off of and tap into. So if we go to the weekly time frame, we can see that we have a huge imbalance right here. Price hasn't necessarily got up to this area yet, but this is a weekly imbalance right here. Okay. Also, we see over in this area, let me make this a little bit bigger. We have a bearish, bullish, bearish pattern that price can possibly tap into, which gives us our supply zone on a weekly time frame. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because our daily impulse, our daily leg is so huge that, we don't really have nothing to kind of gauge off of right now from a daily perspective. So I want to kind of look at the weekly just to kind of get a big picture as to what price is trying to achieve. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me change the color of that to yellow. Not that one. There we go. All right. So now let's drop to a daily. Let me mark this, notate this as a weekly. Let's drop to the daily zone. The daily time frame to actually see what price is trying to do or what it may tap into from here. So from a daily perspective, you guys, let's look at this. We can see that we have a huge imbalance in this area here. All right, which is actually close to a bank level of 1.14 thousand. That's one thing we want to be mindful of as to where we are within the market. Key level, key bank level, we'll say that. So we're at this 1.44 thousand, which is close to this daily imbalance right here. So that's one thing that we want to be mindful of, because price can literally tap into that and this bank level before it decides to turn around. So those are some of the things that I'm looking for price to actually do. I'll put this as a daily imbalance. All right. But let's drop to a smaller time frame to look exactly what price is doing on a smaller scale. Okay. So if we look at this from a 4-hour perspective, we can see that price is giving us a higher high, higher low, and another higher high. But look what we can see on the 4-hour time frame. We have a demand zone right here, which is giving us a bullish, bearish, bullish, a continuation pattern to the upside. But we can also see that price has tested this level here. It's tested 50% within this demand zone. Came up, tested 50%, and then it decided to shoot off. Okay, so now price has broken this last higher high here, and so I want to see price come up a little bit, give us a pullback maybe on the 4 hour or the 1 hour, and then continue to the upside. Okay, so let's drop to the 1 hour, and we can see from a 1 hour perspective we still have bullish momentum. Right here we have a bullish bearish bullish continuation pattern to the upside, which created our demand zone here from a 1 hour perspective. And one of the things I like to see is for price to come back, test the demand zone, and continue to the upside. Okay, let's look on the 15 minute. And so we can see the market closed with this doji here. So one of the things that we might see, if we look at this from a 15-minute perspective, we can see when price gave us this impulse higher high here, gave us a pullback, wicked into the 61.8 to continue up. Now we might see that again in this area here. We might see price come back, wick into the 61.8 area, which would actually wick into another 15-minute demand zone here before it continues to the upside. So that's one of the things I want to see with this. I want to see price wick into this area here and then possibly continue to the upside to continue to give us bullish momentum. Okay, so one of the things we can do with this, like I said, I still expect price to kind of continue to the upside because I still think it's bullish and it wants to go up a little further. We can set an alert right here at 50%. USD CAD. Approaching golden zone, let's say that. Hey you guys, and I want to make sure that a lot of this stuff is making sense to you guys. Can you guys post in the chat just to let me know if this makes sense, if anybody is confused, because we kind of do the same thing over and over. We don't want to overcomplicate it. We just want to let the market come to us, but I want to make sure these analyses are making sense to you guys. So if somebody can put it in the chat and let me know, that'd be great. So like I said, with this, I'm expecting price to come back within this area and then continue to the upside. That's what I want to see. Okay. So you guys let me know, because what we possibly can do is possibly catch an entry right here. You know, we can probably do maybe about 15 pip stop loss or something like that. But I like to take my entries on the 1 minute so I can get a better risk to reward. But if we took something like this, I mean, that can be, you know, this is a 1 to almost 2.5 risk to reward that we can possibly do here. You know, anything can go, you know, but I want to kind of see what the market is going to give us. Yeah, from there. Okay. All right. So that's what I see on USD CAD, you guys. Real simple market structure on this particular pair. Like I said, I feel like this one is going to continue up a little bit more because it's giving us bullish momentum. The market is pretty much telling us exactly what it wants to do right now. G-Chef, I know we have some chef news that's going to come up on tomorrow here. I haven't traded G-Chef in a while because it's been crazy bearish. And it really didn't give me any clean market structure. As you guys can look at this on a daily, you can see it's just been a huge downward spiral for G-Chef. And so, like I said, it haven't been giving me really clean market structure. Let me see. So starting from then looking for the PRR on a smaller time frame. Yes. So I want to wait for it to get into our POI and then drop to the smaller time frame to actually catch a smaller entry and a better risk to reward. That way we can ride it back up to what we're looking for. All right, Sister Beck, I'm glad you cool. I'm glad you can follow along too. I'm glad what I'm saying is making sense. That makes me feel like I'm not just talking fast or something like that. So I appreciate it, y'all. I appreciate the feedback. Like I said, going back to G-Chef, this has been in a huge downward spiral and it hasn't been clean market structure. So I still really don't want to look at G-Chef. Yeah, starting from the daily. Yep. But like I said, I don't want to really look at G-Chef, you guys. Let's go over to gold, my absolute favorite pair. So you guys, as I mentioned kind of sort of when we first started the call, I mentioned this on our last call that we had a few weeks ago. I said that gold was going to get down maybe to the 1620 area. And if you look at this from a daily perspective, we can see that, you know, some time ago back in July, gold gave us a lower high, came down to a lower low, gave us an impulse up to the golden zone, and then it followed the fibs perfectly all the way down to our negative 27, which was right around 1627. And as we can see, price came down here with this area, and then it rushed from that area. It started to shoot up. Okay, so gold follows fibs really, really well, especially on a daily time frame and things like that. So let's look and see exactly what price is trying to achieve now. So if we drop to the 4-hour time frame, let's look at this, you guys, because gold is giving us really, really clean market structure. We can see from a 4-hour perspective. Appreciate it, Ish. We can see gold came down, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and give us a break of structure on a 4-hour time frame right here. Okay, now one of the things I want you guys to notice is that it didn't necessarily give us a 50% or greater pullback. So we put our fibs on here. This is our 4-hour area here, our 4-hour golden zone. It didn't quite come all the way back to this area. Let's see, fib box here. So price hasn't come back to this area yet, but we can see that price decided to still kind of do its thing and produce higher highs and higher lows and all of that kind of thing. Okay, so like we said, what is price trying to achieve right now? Price is still bearish. Overall, from a daily perspective, it's still bearish. So if we look at the daily currently right now, let's look and see exactly what it's doing. So we can come here and we can say this was our pullback here, lower high, impulse down to a lower low. And now price is pulling back for another possible lower high. This here is just, we can see that price was consolidating from a daily perspective. If you look at it and we kind of drop this into a box, price is all in this area. These candles are all just kind of consolidating in this area. So I don't necessarily look at that as a retracement there because it's consolidating. Everything is in the same area, it's moving sideways. Okay. But if we drop to the 4-hour, like I said, we can see that price is starting to trickle up. But let's drop to the 1-hour and see what price is doing. Okay, this was a trade that I caught last week. But like I said, let's look and see what price is actually doing on a 1-hour time frame. And we can see from a 1-hour perspective. high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, break of structure in this area right here. Okay, so one of the things that I want to see with gold, and I don't know if this is the end here, what I want to see with gold is a pullback from a 1 hour perspective in this area here, somewhere in this area. I want to see it pull back into possibly this imbalance right here. And also into this supply zone right here, this huge supply zone. I want to see gold pull back into this area here, show us some bearish momentum on a smaller time frame, maybe a break of structure retest, and then continue to the downside. Because one of the things that I'm kind of looking for right now, like I said, on a 4 hour time frame, it still didn't pull back far enough for me in this area. But because I think gold is still bearish overall, just like any other USD pair, I want to see so right now, because we broke structure, I want to see price kind of come down a little bit, maybe give us a retest, maybe continue a little further up into this area. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, this is what I want to see. I want to see price come down to this area, possibly wick into maybe this area here, continue up a little bit further, and then come back down. Okay, because like I said, I want to see price kind of give us a lower high on a daily, but I think price will come down a little bit in this area. We can grab some pips and then maybe shoot it back up, and then ultimately come back down to this area here. Okay, but we want to see what gold is going to do. Like I said, right now it did break structure on a 1 hour time frame, and so I want to see it give us a pullback into this area and then shoot down to the downside. That's one of the things I do want to see on gold, and so I'll definitely be looking for that. I'm going to put an alert right before this golden zone. Gold approaching golden zone. And for myself, I think the two primary pairs that I'll be looking at this week will be gold and USD CAD, and also GU as well, because I see some really good things for GU that we can possibly ride. But gold is my primary pair that I really trade a lot, and so I'll be looking at movement for gold quite a bit. Let me put this alert in there for everyone. That way everyone can get the alerts. Okay. And that's what I see, you guys. I want to see gold come up here, wick into this area here, and then continue to the downside. And one of the areas that we can look at for a potential TP, if we do catch this, is possibly coming down to this 1655, 56 area, which is right here on this negative 27, or even possibly coming down to the 1650 area. You know, either one, I think we will be able to catch some pips once this thing retests. Because once it retests, I want to look and see what the 15 minute is going to give us. And then if we get a break of structure on a 15 minute coming down, I want to see a 1 minute retest or something like that. And then I'll ride it down from there. But like I said, gold gives a really, really good clean market structure. And I know a lot of people are scared of gold because of how fast it moves. But if you set your alerts and let price come to you, you can really, really eat on gold. But like I said, if there's ever a point where you're trading gold and gold comes up to a golden zone on a daily, if you guys have the psychology and you can catch it, sit in that thing. Because just think about it. If someone caught this trade here, let's just say, price was here, and let's just say from a daily perspective, someone were able to catch the sell, let's just say on this bearish engulfing right here. Let's say you were able to catch this. I know the risk to reward is extremely huge, but let's just say on a smaller time frame you caught something like this, and you even wrote it down to this liquidity area here. You had the psychology to do that. This here alone is about 974 pips alone on gold. But if you said to yourself, I'm going to hold this all the way into the golden zone here, that's literally, let's see, that's over 1,500 pips on gold. So let's just think about it. If you took a 0.1, which is $1 per pip, alone, from there, that's 1,500 bucks just from $1 per pip. If you took a standard lot or something like that, that's 15 grand or more, or whatever the case may be. But I mean, that's Pip City right there. That's Pip City. I mean, you definitely gonna eat if you were able to catch that. So if you were able to catch something like this, look at this. This is a 87 pip stop loss, which is something I would never really do. But if you drop to a smaller time frame and you were able to catch something like this, you could have took a entry here, stayed in this, and when price pulled back here, you can scale in and take multiple entries on things like this. So, like I said, if you ever catch a golden zone type situation on a daily with gold, you definitely want to watch it, because like I said, you can stay in that thing for a while and you can really, really eat. You can take a small entry, and once you take that small entry, you can say that can be, just your initial entry there. Take a small entry. Once it come down, give you a pullback from a daily perspective. And once price breaks this low here, from there, go ahead and put your stop loss and profit from a daily perspective here. Now it's a risk-free trade, and take partial profits as price constantly gives you pullbacks and break those areas. So let's just say, like I said, if you took that entry right here and you just said this lower low will be my TP, what you can do is, when price comes back, give you this pullback here. When it breaks this short-term low here, then you can say, all right, you guys, this right here will be my new stop loss right here, right above this area. It breaks this area here. Once it pulls back here, then once price breaks this area here, once it breaks this area here, take your stop loss, put it right here. Put your stop loss right there. It's not going to come back there and break that area because it's still in market structure. It already broke this short-term low here. But as price come down to these areas right here, take partial profits. Take partial profits. You're going to lock in profits. Price pulls back here, breaks this area. Once it breaks this area again, take some more partial profits. Okay? Then you can say, okay, when price come back and pulls back here, you want to wait for price to break these short-term lows here. Once it breaks, there you go. Put your stop loss here, take some more partial profits. You could have moved your stuff down here, and that's all you do. Once price pulls back and it break those short-term lows, move that stop loss. Pulls back, break those short-term lows, move your stop loss. So now, this is the next area here. It pulls back, break this, move your stop loss down here. You know, you can constantly keep doing that, taking partial profits, and you're eating and eating and eating off of one entry. But when price give you things like this, you can take another entry within it as well. That's what I mean when I say scale in. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you ever catch this on a golden zone, literally ride it down either to that next daily lower low, or you can ride it down to the fibs. And as it gives you those pullbacks on a daily perspective, you know, you can scale in and take your partial profits as price constantly runs and things like that. I hope that helps you guys. But yeah, you can do that. But like I said, when we're looking at gold right now, I'm expecting it to still be bearish overall. But as of right now, I want to see a pullback from the 1 hour perspective, and then we possibly ride it down. Hey y'all, let's look. Right now it's about 3:12, and we've run through all of our pairs and all of the ones that were requested. Hey man, I appreciate you guys rocking with us today. Like I said, we should have some really good opportunities. Be mindful that this is NFP, so we want to make sure that we govern ourselves accordingly, as opposed to the news that comes out. We don't necessarily want to get caught in anything and be in any crazy profit and not secure profits. Or if you're in anything like that, make sure you're in a risk-free trade or something like that, and make sure you secure profits to make sure that your accounts are good from a risk management perspective. Hey y'all, like I said, I want to thank y'all for rocking with me today. If y'all have any questions, hit me up on the chat. I'll be happy to chat with you guys, help out any way as I can, and we all grow together. And from there, I'll see y'all later. I'll holla at y'all.